Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Like you could achieve the impossible, and they would still only see the person you used to be? Imagine carrying a secret so massive that it could change everything, but keeping it hidden because you know the truth would only make them resent you more. Now imagine the moment they finally push you too far, and you have the power to bring their entire world crashing down with a single word. That is exactly what happened to me. And this is the story of how I went from being the family failure to the one person they should have feared most. My name is Eleanor Vance, and for the last 6 years, I have been a United States federal judge. I have presided over cases involving organized crime, corporate fraud, and political corruption. I have sent powerful men to prison and upheld the Constitution with every decision I have made. My courtroom is a place of absolute authority, where my word is final and my gavel echoes like thunder. But my parents have no idea. To them, I am still Ellie, the dreamer. The one who could not hack it in law school. The one who abandoned a promising career to paint watercolors and live in a tiny apartment with a cat that hates everyone. My mother still sends me care packages filled with canned soup and coupons. My father still asks me, at every family gathering, when I am going to get a real job and stop embarrassing them. My sister, Sarah, is the star of the family. She is a rising political powerhouse, a state senator with her eyes on the governorship. She is beautiful, ruthless, and absolutely untouchable. At least, that is what she thought. It all came to a head on a rainy Tuesday night at Sarah's campaign fundraiser. I was there because my mother threatened to never speak to me again if I missed it. I stood in the corner of the elegant ballroom, nursing a glass of sparkling water and watching my sister work the room like a predator. She shook hands with donors, laughed at their terrible jokes, and posed for photographs with a smile that never quite reached her eyes. I was used to being the invisible one, the wallflower, the one people smiled at politely before turning away to find someone more important. But then the night took a sharp turn. Sarah's ex-boyfriend, a journalist named Marcus, showed up outside the venue. He was drunk, clearly, and he was furious. He had been digging into Sarah's campaign finances and had discovered something he was about to expose. He grabbed her wrist as she stepped out for some fresh air, and I saw the fear flash across her face. But it only lasted a second. Sarah shoved him hard, and Marcus stumbled backward, his head connecting with a concrete planter with a sickening crack. He went down and did not get back up. The blood pooled on the wet pavement, and the cameras started flashing. Suddenly, the golden child was standing over a body, and the crowd was screaming. My mother grabbed my shoulders, her nails digging into my jacket, so hard I knew they would leave marks. Her eyes were wild with panic, and she did not even ask if I was okay. She just started giving orders. "Listen to me," she hissed. "Just say you were driving. Say you took Sarah's keys and you hit him. Say it was an accident." I stared at her, my mind struggling to process what she was asking. "What?" I managed to whisper. My father stepped in, arms crossed, his voice cold and dismissive. "She has a campaign, Ellie. A future. She has donors. She is going to change the world. You have nothing to lose." Nothing to lose. Those 3 words hit me like a slap. I have dedicated my entire adult life to the law. I have spent years studying, working, and sacrificing everything to earn my position. I have sentenced murderers and exposed corrupt officials. I have nothing to lose? I am a federal judge. I have everything to lose. But they did not know that. To them, I was still the failure. Sarah stepped forward, brushing a piece of dust off my shoulder like I was a servant. Her smirk was infuriating. "Do not worry, sis," she said. "It is just a hit and run. We will get you a good lawyer. Who would believe you anyway? Who would believe me anyway?" There it was, the thesis of my entire life. The invisible child, the disappointment, the one who never mattered. But in that moment, something inside me snapped. Not with anger, but with a terrifying, crystalline calm. The calm I feel when I am about to deliver a verdict that will change someone's life forever. They were not asking me to lie. They were asking me to be exactly who they always thought I was. A nobody. And that was their first mistake. I pulled out my phone and typed a single message to my chief clerk. "Bring the incident report book to the restaurant. Authorize a protective detail. Now." I hit send, and I watched the little blue bubble appear, confirming delivery. Then I waited. The family huddled together in the rain, arguing about spin and damage control. Sarah was on the phone with her campaign manager, her voice frantic. Marcus was being loaded into an ambulance, but I knew he would survive. He was already moving, groaning. This was not a murder. It was an assault, and the truth was on my side. Then the sirens came. 2 black SUVs screeched to a halt in front of the restaurant, and 6 federal agents jumped out. They were not local police. They were U.S. Marshals. My mother's face went pale. My father started sputtering about a misunderstanding. Sarah tried to wave them away with that practiced politician smile. But the marshals walked right past them. They stopped directly in front of me. The lead marshal offered a crisp salute. "Your Honor, are you safe?" The silence that followed was deafening. My mother looked at me like I had grown a second head. My father's jaw dropped. Sarah's smirk vanished, replaced by a look of pure, unadulterated terror. "Your Honor?" she repeated, her voice small and shrill. "What are you talking about? She is nobody. She paints watercolors." I slowly unzipped my jacket, revealing the black judicial robe I had been wearing underneath all night. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my badge and my gavel. I looked my sister directly in the eyes, and I spoke with a voice I had never used in front of my family before. A voice of absolute authority. "I am Judge Eleanor Vance," I said. "United States District Court, Northern District. You just attempted to coerce a federal officer into committing perjury to cover up your assault on a civilian. That is a felony." Sarah started shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. "No, no, no. You cannot do this. We are family. We protect each other. Think about what this will do to my campaign. To Mom and Dad. Please, Ellie, please." I looked at my mother, whose face was contorted with shock and disbelief. I looked at my father, who was staring at the badge in my hand like it was a weapon aimed at his heart. And I felt nothing but cold, righteous satisfaction. "You are right," I said. "We are family. But for the first time in my life, I am not the one standing in the background. I am not the one you can push around and dismiss. I am the one who decides." I turned to the marshal and gave the order. "Sarah, you are under arrest for felony assault and attempted coercion." Marshal read her rights. "And take my parents' statements. They attempted to aid and abet a felon. We will see if they have nothing to lose when they are held in contempt of court." The marshals moved fast. Sarah was handcuffed and placed in the back of an SUV, screaming and crying. My mother tried to grab my arm, but a marshal stepped between us. My father just stood there, frozen, his face gray with shock. I watched them for a long moment, these people who had spent my entire life making me feel small. And I realized that I did not need their approval anymore. I never did. That was the last mistake my sister ever made. Because the system I dedicated my life to has no room for favoritism. It has no room for lies. And for the first time in my life, I was not on the losing side. I walked away from the flashing lights and got into the black government SUV. As the car pulled away, I looked back one last time. A single tear escaped my eye, but I wiped it away. I never told them who I was because I wanted them to love me for me, but they never did. So instead, I showed them exactly who I was. And the gavel speaks louder than a smirk ever could. Justice is blind, as they say. But I saw everything. And I finally made sure that everyone else did too. If you enjoyed the story, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another tale of justice served and secrets revealed. And if you have ever felt invisible or underestimated, remember this. The people who dismiss you do not know your power. One day, you might just get the chance to show them. Until next time, stay sharp and never underestimate the quiet ones.